Okay, this is the All Crack, No Crap podcast, episode 2. I'm joined with Paul again.
Yep, hello.
And while I'm on you, I've just said at episode 2, are we going to number these?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we'll number it. But
Yeah.
it sounds like you need to listen to it in order, though.
You're not necessarily, because they're all going to be sort of somewhat independent, aren't they? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they're different things, because this episode's going to be very different, because I'm going to be reacting to some of Paul's stuff. I'll let you explain what it is.
Yeah. So I've had numerous YouTube channels over the years, so we're going to react to an old gaming YouTube channel. We've also got. I used to be Christian. Big surprise.
You used to be really Christian.
I used to be very Christian.
Yeah.
So we've got some old sort of ministry blog posts I used to make. So Callum's going to be reacting to this. He's never seen any of this.
No, I haven't seen.
So he hasn't got a clue.
He told me about this a week before we started the podcast, so 2 weeks ago now. Driving in the car, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! You used to do all that."
Yeah.
Wow. We have to. Yeah, I'd love to see it, and I'm going to see it today. I'm mad excited.
Yeah, so I've given Callum control over the computer so he can.
For context now, though, we're both atheists. I'd say, are we both anti-theist? I'd consider myself.
I think I'm fairly anti-theist. Yeah.
And I just want to say, anti-theist doesn't mean we're against religion. We're just sort of happy there's no God.
Yeah.
We think life is better because it's an accident.
Yeah, well, anti-theist was more described the sort of state of mind as the religion does damage.
Yeah.
There is damage that comes from it.
But no, if you hear the word anti-theist, I think a lot of people think it means, oh, you hate religious people.
Yeah,
that's not what
I don't.
is.
I don't hate religious people at all. No, not at all. I mean, it's down to a personal choice, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. No, that's just what I think people think when they hear the word.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sort of misinterpretation.
Yeah. So what am I doing with this laptop now then?
So 2 Chrome tabs are open. That's all the stuff you need.
Minimise that.
Yeah, minimise that. That's fine.
Right. Okay. The truth about the church is the first one.
So I would save that.
Okay. Right. Where you should be doing the computer, really, Paul.
No. So it's fine because most of the rest of it is like fairly fine. I'd save that one because I would say that starts to show a lot of my discontent towards religion.
Okay, right. So, which one's a good one to start with then?
I haven't looked at these in years. Decade. Oh Christ.
Oh, there's one here called Welcome.
Welcome. Okay.
It's not the first one you did, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, I know.
We'll start with that one anyway.
Yeah.
Is it a video?
No, it's a blog post.
Blog post. Okay,
yeah.
You're going to read that. There's no fucking way I'm reading on microphone.
Welcome, everyone. Everything posted here is inspired by my love for writing and my love for sharing God's word. Getting to the point, I wanted to let you all know that you're all welcome to like and comment. I would love to know what sort of thing you would like to hear about. So it's sort of just an introduction.
That's just it's a nice introduction. Is that the back button there?
Yes, that's the one.
Go back. Okay. A prayer against darkness.
Yeah, so it's 2016. That's going back.
That's going back now.
Oh.
I'm not live reading everything on camera. No chance.
We have all heard God's call, and it is often in the darkness when we were welcomed into his arms. As we look into our communities, we see many people who are surrounded by darkness and cannot see a clear future. People who no longer want to live, and people suffering with mental illness. We see the arms of the Lord which reaches out to comfort them, but they do not see him. We are called to change our communities, to be a beacon of light that breaks through the darkness. These people do not know the love of the Lord, but we can show them. Do you know what? I don't even want to read any further.
That got heavy quite quick.
It did, didn't it?
Because the first one was a nice little welcome introduction.
Yeah.
But what I love is that this is the one you did before the welcome one.
Yeah.
I only scrolled down to one more. just so the listeners know. So it went from that to welcome everybody.
Yeah.
That got dark fairly fast.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, no, oh, what can I say about that? How do I react to that now? Well, I did.
You did. You very much reacted.
I said it was dark.
Yeah, it was dark.
That got dark fairly fast, yeah. Well, on a point of mental illness, if there was an all-loving God, would mental illness just not be a thing?
I would have thought so, yeah.
Serving God and man. You serving man, are you?
Oh, that had to come out, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think you should read some of these as well.
No, but I don't want to read because I'm going to fuck it up. If I cock it up, you got to edit me out. You got to all my stutters and I'm dyslexic up the wazoo. Today has been a struggle, so I fucked already. Today has been a struggle so far. I can't do it, Paul. I can't do it. I know there's a microphone there. I just can't.
Just incapable of reading.
Just incapable.
Yeah. You have it here. Callum is disabled.
Very disabled.
Today has been a struggle so far. When I returned home, I opened my Bible and asked the Lord for a message, and it took me to Job 42. But what stood out to me was verse 7 to 10. After the Lord had spoken these words to Job, the Lord says to Eliphaz the Temanite, "My anger burns." I fucked up now. "My anger burns against you and against your two friends, for you have not spoken for me what is right, as my servant Job has. Now therefore take 7 bulls and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up a burnt offering for yourselves, and my servant Job shall pray for you, and his prayer shall be accepted, not to deal with you according to your folly, for you have not spoken for me what is right, as my servant Job has." So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shunammite, and Zophar the Naamite went and did what the Lord had told them to, and the Lord accepted Job's prayers. The message given through this is, there are times when in order to serve the Lord in the fullest way, we have to serve each other. By serving each other, we can enable them to serve God better.
I kind of get the message, but he's not saying, like, how do you interpret that? I'm not going to accept your apology because my mate Job over there, he's sound and you're a bastard. So if you ask him to thank me on your behalf, is that kind of what it is?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, interpreting the Bible can go like
that's
all
a whole
ways.
Other minefield. That is.
It really is. Yeah. I mean, I did a few courses in like theology and things like that. So
right.
Because I worked for the church for a period. So
yeah.
And honestly, even in
you used to ring the bells, didn't you?
That was after I worked for the church.
Oh,
well,
right.
Actually, during and after.
Did you ring the bells while servicing the man?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So it's a hard thing to do. Do you know it takes 6 months just to learn to ring a church bell?
I think you have told me that before.
Yeah,
That's good for the listeners. That's an interesting fact.
It's very. My brother still does it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
He's not religious, not at all.
No, he just does it because he likes it.
Yeah, it's just a cool hobby.
Fair enough. Then.
Yeah.
That is a cool hobby. What do you do at the weekend? Ring church bells.
Yeah. And like you have like methods, which is where the bells change automatically, and you have to know where you're going.
Yeah.
So I actually came across them the other day that I had written out some methods, because like I still remember some of them.
Yeah.
Like Cloister, where if I was on the second bell, I would hunt to the front and then hunt out to the back, and then bob at the back and hunt to the front again. Which makes absolutely no sense to anyone.
No. Well, maybe some of the listeners might know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
What you're talking about, sorry? Should we go for the just being cheap arse chapel, or letting God out? Can we cut me saying chapel is cheap? Can we cut that?
No. The listeners need to know.
What should we go for? I'm thinking letting God out. What's that one about?
No idea.
Christianity and oh yeah, you've no idea. This is dated to November 16. You were doing this fairly consistently for a while.
Oh yeah, for a fair while, yeah.
Okay.
Back to me it comes.
Massive paragraph. It's because I know the microphone's there. I just can't.
Yeah, it does make it more difficult. A friend of mine told me today that it took her 74 years to realise that she must let the spirit out. She never needed to invite the spirit in and ask him to come because he was always there. An eternal blessing. Soon after this, in contemplative prayer, the Lord spoke to me, and he said, "I am the one, I am always there." A few moments later, I knew the validity of what had been said. The Lord was instructing me to let his spirit flow through me and flow out of me so that I may be an example of his love to the people of the community that we work so closely with. I have believed that this was the most important thing any Christian can do. To be loving and caring, and to be a beacon of the Lord's love. I struggled massively when surrounded by people who lack belief and have little consideration for their words to bring that to fruition. It really brought it home to me and gave me the motivation to be more confident being a beacon outside of the church-based work that I do. This is the message that I bring to you. Bless those around you with the spirit and love of God. Do not be afraid in your faith, but be confident. There is a world outside that wants to hear what you have to say about your faith, so go and tell them.
Okay, my reaction there is no, there fucking isn't.
No,
you would get Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Everybody hates you.
I think there's definitely, even being an atheist, I think there's definitely still people out there that want to hear about your faith. They don't want to be preached to about your faith. Like, for example, even in school, we would, like me, would have debates about religion.
You and should we cut his name? Because I don't know if he's.
Yeah, probably should.
Yeah, we'll bleep out the name. But me and you, I wasn't religious at school. I think I was like, oh yeah, I believe there's some in there. Must be. I was very thick at school. I didn't know a lot.
Still very thick now.
I was just gonna say that, and I'm still thick. But what's it? Yeah, I've lost my train of thought now because, back at school. So you were in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And I remember just asking you question.
Yeah. There was a lot of that.
So I don't think I was really debating you. I was just asking.
Yeah, but I think there's that general interest. That sort of people want to know what other people believe. They just don't want to be preached to about it. They don't want to be preached to that this is the truth.
Actually, I still see that in myself now.
Yeah. So I think there's some truth in that. The thing actually I'll point out in here, because I think we should do a couple more posts and move on to the other stuff, just so we've got time for, because I think that's going to be more entertaining for people generally.
Yeah.
I put in there that, like, the Lord spoke to me, and when I look back on times like that, because now I don't believe, I don't have faith, when I look back on things like that, what I think of is actually, I had a moment when we were sat there in silence for 10 minutes, I had a moment where a thought popped into my head, and, like, I was delusioned enough in my faith to genuinely believe that the Lord was speaking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just your subconscious, really, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a look through now. Actually, let's see what we've got here. Oh, I liked a bit of Greek and Latin when I.
Before we get onto that, I've just had a question, because you remember last episode. You had asked me to prepare questions.
Yeah.
I've just thought of a question now.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break from the blog for a second. Okay, the question goes, if you died now.
Yeah.
It's all real. You meet the fellow at the pearly gates, St. Peter. That's right, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, so you meet St. Peter, you say, okay, yeah, just through there up to God's office. So you go up to God's office, you're looking out over the universe. What would you like God to say about you right there and then, his first impression?
I would, honestly, it would bemuse me extremely to walk in and for God to go, oh, Jesus Christ, oh no. I've got to deal with this shit again. Because, if we're suffering with the monotony, I want him to fucking suffer with it as well.
Well, he lives for eternal. It's pretty monotonous.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live forever. A good 80 years is long enough. I think we have a...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I think Richard Dawkins said it quite well. It's like, even if God it is real, I don't want to go to heaven because it's an eternal theocracy.
It's eternal North Korea. That's what Hitchens used to say.
Yeah. I think.
How would you have answered that if I'd asked you 10 years ago when you was writing this blog?
It's hard to say how I would have answered it. I was a totally different person by then.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
that is kind of a dickhead thing to ask you because that is hard.
Yeah, but I think I probably would have said, like, I'd want him to say, like, thank you or something like that, because at the time I worked in ministry, including children's ministry, and I wanted at the time to continue doing that for the rest of my life.
Yeah. But now, if you met God now, what would you want him to say to you?
I'd want him to be in complete dismay about the fact that I'm there. Yeah.
For fuck's sake, he let you... I've got to have a chat with Mr. St. Peter down there.
Yeah.
Letting in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just letting any old idiot in now.
Yeah, who's this fucker coming here now?
Okay, back to the post.
So, this is titled, as I said, I liked a bit of Greek and Latin back then.
Can we just mute the mic a second?
We can.
So I just had to cough.
So this is titled Eli, Lima Sabachthani.
You said this is in Latin or Greek, something like that?
It's one of the two, I can't remember
okay,
exactly.
You might have to do some translating and you don't even know where it's fucking from.
Yeah, I can't remember what it means. No,
should we skip this one then, or?
I think it means, my God, why have you forsaken me? I think that's what it is.
Okay, I hope so, because that sounds interesting.
I hope it explains it in here. These are the most powerful words in all history. God surrendering his life to forgive the sins of the world.
Oh, it's not all in Greek?
No.
Oh, that's right.
His back was in strips, a crown of thorns to mock his authority, and nails driven through his hands and his feet. Unbearable pain, and yet up until now he did not say a word. All of a sudden it came at 3 p.m. My God, why have you forsaken me? See, I knew that. Yeah. The ground shook.
I knew that because it's going to be in the video that we're going to play later, is it? Or are we doing the videos?
No.
We're not doing... Okay.
I haven't loaded them onto my computer, so...
okay, we'll skip that.
Boulders split and the curtain was torn in two from top to bottom.
That will at some stage in the new year be on Magic Skeptics channel, though.
Oh, yeah, it will. Yeah.
Maybe we'll explain at the end of that.
The authority of the Christ was witnessed there as he surrenders to the curse of death that he would soon overcome. On that day, demons fled and trembled because Jesus Christ would rise again, and his authority was like no other authority on earth. There is but one more powerful authority, the authority of the Godhead.
Right. The Godhead?
Yeah, that's quite common terminology in a lot of ministry. Because you might say that, you might hear the Godhead 3 in 1, you might hear exclusively like the Godhead, because you'd refer to the Godhead because God is 3 in 1. So you could be referring to like God the Spirit, God the Father, God the Son.
Yeah. So that reminds me of a joke. It goes like, was Jesus ever baptised and how did it go? Who said that joke? I can't remember now. Like, his baptism must have been, in the name of your dad, your mate, and you, I baptise you.
Yeah.
I can't remember which comedian that was now. No idea. Maybe it'll come to me, but only after we finish recording.
Well, it was said that that St. John baptised all the children in the village, and he would barely come out of the River Jordan in the time he was there. He might stay in there all day. It took that long to forgive the sins.
Yeah.
And if you get that one, you get it.
If you get that one, you're fucked up in the head.
Yeah. Right, I don't even know how long we've been recording for.
I'm swearing a lot in this video. I don't think I swore in the last one, did I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah,
we're alright then.
We both swore in the last one.
Did we? I don't think you haven't sworn. We should have a swear counter.
We should have a swear counter, that'd be great. So, I think we're sort of getting onto a bit of time because you need to be off fairly good time.
What is the time now?
It's 6:10 coming up to.
Coming up to 6:10. Yeah, okay, I've got like 20 minutes after this.
Yeah.
Christ.
So, we'll go to the last post, the one I said to save till last.
Okay.
And then we'll go on to some videos.
How long have we been recording for now?
I have no idea. I don't think it actually has a timer. Oh, it does, 21 minutes.
Oh, this is a fairly... Well, we'll go for another 20 minits then, and that'll be...
Yeah.
That's a decent length podcast.
So I put, this is the truth about the church. For you guys, we put a video today. It's probably be one of the only actual video things we do. If we're looking at mainly sticking to just being a podcast, aren't we?
Yeah.
Really. So I put, I haven't posted in a while, but it's time that I did. The time has come for you all to know the truth. Why, as a Christian, I have had enough of the church. Why, as a Christian, I hate the church and the religious implications it puts upon having a relationship with Jesus. Each time I have given myself to a church, I have become a martyr for their will. I spend lots of time constantly hearing about how, as a whole congregation, we are not pulling our weight because we aren't of the streets hard-selling Christianity to those of other faiths, because the congregation of 200 is not big enough, because the church is collapsing under the pressure of its money struggles. I'm going to pop right in there and say right fucking now, fucking priests and pastors can get paid a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
That's why it's collapsing under the weight of its own fucking gate.
Yeah, I bet I don't go to church. Do they take charity donations in the church, don't they? Do they?
Yeah, and it goes towards the running of the church. Some of it gets donated to charity, but a lot of it is going into the wages of.
Yeah.
You know.
I was just going to say, but they probably not told it's going into their wages.
Oh, they know.
Oh, they know.
They know it's going into their wages. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
But like it's. So I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a pastor who I thought was brilliant at the initially, and he turned very much like this is saying, turned very much towards like asses on seats, like why aren't you doing more?
Right.
And like just fucking lecturing to us every Sunday, absolute wanker. And he moved on, and I found a post about him a few years later.
Oh really?
Yeah. Where he had moved on to is to be one of the lead pastors in an Elim megachurch, because he'd switched our church from Pentecostal to Elim, and so obviously came with a massive pay rise, as you can imagine, being like a pastor at a megachurch. It turned out his dad was the head of the Elim church. Yeah, so he landed himself, or his dad was like high up in the Elim church or something like that. He'd landed himself in this position. But like,
well, his dad did.
Yeah. But then he was making like a lot of money before he became a pastor, because he was a professional in another area.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, you don't want to give an identity away. That's right. I'm kind of glad though, because I thought this story was going to be he was moved away because of the other things pastors and priests usually get up to.
No.
That's in this case. That's okay then.
Yeah. So I'll go on to because as Christians, it is apparently our responsibility to hard sell to bother those who simply are not interested, instead of being a beacon of hope through the love we show in our everyday lives. In our churches, youth groups, the time is given to tell the children and young people in the local community that God can change their lives and that they don't have to be stuck in the rut they are, but they do not make the effort to make it happen. They do not take the time to enable God to let they do not take the time to enable them to let God into their lives and into their hearts. I think I probably didn't write that very well, but I think what I meant there is like we weren't giving kids the time of day really.
Yeah.
We were just going, here's the message, take it or leave it. Here, let's go play a game.
Yeah.
That was it.
So this was written when you were still religious, but I don't want to work for the church anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very, very much discontent. Every church I've ever gone to has said to come as you are, yet it seems to be a disgrace if you show up to church wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And every man, woman and child is judged for their actions because they do or say something which is not Christian. What the church has forgotten is that Christ did not come for the perfect. He did not come because we kept to the values that God taught us. He came for the sinners and died for the relief of sin and the defeat of death. The church is also guilty of finding temporary solutions to engage with the local community, but then making no effort to help the local community. The church sees problems and seeks personal and literal solutions which simply do not work. What we must all remember is God is the beginning and the end, and He holds all things together. He is the solution. Belief and prayer, hope and love. These are the answers for the church's problems. You know that more than once I have met a Christian who has professed to be very liberal, has professed to not understanding the hypocritical nature of the church, but then they make homophobic remarks and suddenly become prejudicial. How can you come as you are if homosexuality is not welcome? How can you come as you are if the transgender society is not welcome? I know for a fact that I'm going to get so much hate for saying a lot of these things. I did get hate comments on some
How
of these.
many people were reading your posts?
Not a lot, but there was enough to be hate comments. When we go back to the main page, I'll be able to see.
Okay.
I think I'll probably leave that one there, to be fair, because there's...
Yeah, that one goes on for a while. I think we got the point.
Post.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're only halfway through that.
Yeah. Well, that seems like a good place.
Yeah, I had to sort of stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can see what you're saying. Like, yeah, I like the whole "come as you are." I like the idea of Jesus.
Yeah.
He had some pretty poor ideas about slavery, but overall he was all right. I was about to say, he sounds all right. He had some bad things, and I said the word slavery there, and I thought I can't really say now that he was sound because he wasn't.
I don't think Jesus actively said anything about slavery.
There is something in the Bible though. Slavery's okay so long
as
Old
it's Testament.
That's Old Testament. That's not Jesus then.
But Jesus is not separate from the Old Testament because He did tell everyone to continue to follow the laws from the Old Testament.
Yeah, that's true. But what I was going to say, right, no, that does prove me wrong.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, that 13 views that one got. And they're all showing 0 comments because I went through and deleted a lot of comments.
Right.
I used to go through and delete a lot of comments. Mainly because I didn't want, if kids were going to come onto the page, I didn't want them seeing some of the comments being made.
Right.
Because
they were not very Christian. Can we?
Yeah. We'll say like that. Yeah, not very Christian. Yeah.
Okay. This has been fascinating.
Yeah.
This is old you. This is the you that I met all those years ago at school.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going back.
Yeah. We've had a week for throwbacks then.
We really have.
Because I'm going to plug my channel again.
Oh yeah.
And I just did a video yesterday about when we started climbing versus how we are climbing now.